As the great Tommy Sanders always calls it, it is moving day on the Bassmaster Elite Series. That's the kind of moving I'd like to be doing. That looks like a good time, and good times are being had out on Lake St. Clair. Welcome into the Bassmaster halftime show presented by Bass Cat Boats. And what a tournament we have here. It all comes down to this, all the points, whether you're trying to re-qualify, whether you're trying to qualify for the Classic, whether you're trying to win Angler of the Year, Rookie of the Year, it all gets decided in Michigan. Well, no, it'll get decided in Wisconsin, but I mean, this part of the story, the 8th chapter of our 9-chapter book, gets written right here on Lake St. Clair. Brandenburg Park, the scene of our weigh-in, and the Z United, where it sounded good in my head, but it came bad out of my mouth.
Doesn't matter.
Mark Zona's on the show again and going to be here all week. Kyle Jesse, as always. Z-Train, this is your body of water.
You know, what's been interesting about this tournament so far, it's as much as things have been different about this tournament and really talking about the pressure that these fish get. I said it this morning to Tommy and Davey. It's still, at the end of the day, it's still the same old lakes, even though there's some differences. If you look at the weights, the one you made a comment, you know, you were up on stage yesterday. You said, was there anything that was cool yesterday behind the stage? And one of the things that it's staggering, but there were some guys that really, really needed to catch them yesterday. Looking at Angler of the Year races, looking at guys that were trying to qualify for the Classic or just re-qualify, just fighting for their life. It's always staggering to me to see guys behind that weigh-in stage over there that catch 18 to 19 pounds where they probably thought in their head, man, I did something. I did something today, and you come to the stage and no, you didn't. Because digging out of an 18-pound hole here with as close as the weights are is literally next to impossible.
Yeah, Zona made the comment yesterday that if you had 17 pounds after day one, you would be in trouble. Boy, would you. You'd be in the mid to lower 80s. And, you know, the final two events, when we take a look at the Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year race, two tournaments where, you know, it's very hard to gain ground if you fall back. I mean, close weights, tight weights, 100%. So, I mean, each and every day is going to be so critical. In the last two events, we saw that yesterday. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up after day two.
And you got some big names in tough situations. Ben Milliken. I mean, as nuts as it is to think he may not re-qualify after his rookie season, he's in a situation after yesterday he has to catch him. But let's get caught up with all the catching right now with your Yamaha midday report. And we'll kick it off with a guy who I don't know that he was feeling any pressure, because he walked on stage and said, how was your day, before the weight showed up, and he said, okay. Will Davis Jr. was more than okay. He was in third place.
Exactly. And Will Davis really fishing right outside of our takeoff here on the north side of Anchor Bay. One of the interesting things with Will Davis, a little bit off the beaten path here in Anchor Bay, not in the cluster, the core of pressure of Anchor Bay. And I guess it was a little bit surprising, as good as he did yesterday, very, very scary low on numbers throughout day number one of this tournament.
One of those guys that I think gets overlooked a lot. You know, we have the conversations, guys that are, you know, underrated, don't get appreciated enough. Obviously early on in his Bassmaster Elite Series career, but so far, you know, you might not have him on your fantasy fishing team, but he always shows out each and every tournament.
And part of the reason he gets kind of overlooked is his personality. He's a really quiet guy, does his talking on the scales, and yesterday was a prime example of, but there's not an angler on this tour that questions him being here.
100%.
He has got the skills to pay the bills.
And just all around, as far as versatility goes, if you watch what he's done the last couple of years, very, very solid. Talking about versatility, from East Texas, Dakota Ebear, not a bear, but he is a bear on the water. Dakota Ebear, most of his damage, day number one, very popular, a little bit overlooked technique on Lake St. Clair the last couple years, fishing a spy bait, counting it down. A lot of times the Canadian side, that was always a big player. And it always seems like when you have a tough tournament on this lake with a little bit lighter winds, that is when that spy bait tends to shine. Predominantly what he weighed in yesterday, exactly on that bait.
And about time. let's be honest. Dakota, a lot was expected of him coming here. I mean,
he expected it, man. 100%.
His track record proved that it happens, but it's been kind of a rough rookie season for Dakota Hebert, but buckle up because I don't think he's going anywhere this week. A guy that is not going anywhere anytime. Former collegiate champion, your reigning and defending classic champion, Easton Fothergill.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to call Easton out real quick. You ready?
Do.
No, I'm going to do this because I'm a little bit hard on Koya Fujita for he's sneaky secrety about his baits. I'm going to say Easton Fothergill is the U.S. version because, listen, I hang out with Easton, and he does not like talking about a lot of those sneaky baits. And I'm going to tell you something. I really believe what I'm going to say. I talked about this with Tommy and Davey. You see the evolution of forward-facing sonar baits, and I'm going to tell you, that evolution is right now, and I believe a lot of that evolution is because of anglers like Koya and guys like Easton Fothergill. Like, I think right now, they are the true, besides college fishermen, I believe Easton Fothergill and Koya, they are the trendsetters of where we are heading the next 10 years with lures.
Well, if you look at the two anglers that stood side by side at the very conclusion of this year's Classic, it is that angler right there, Easton Fothergill, and our tournament leader and unofficial Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year leader, Trey McKinney. Those two are going to trade blows for years and years to come.
Here's what's weird. Looking at a guy like Will Davis, looking at Easton and Dakota, and this angler right here, Trey McKinney, I want you to think about something. Obviously, a huge last 12 months, but this dude was a hammer before that when he was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
It is, imagine when these guys actually have experience on the bot. Imagine these anglers 3 years from now, as powerful as they are fishing currently. That's scary because I always say it. Looking at these lakes is like an offense looking at a defense over and over and over. When an angler like Trey McKinney gets more looks under his belt, whether you like him or you don't like him, here's what I can tell you. That dude is the future of the Elite Series.
Wow, those are big, big words. And, you know, you're right, Easton's pretty quiet, but our whatever that word I'm looking for is, spends a little time with him socially. Kyle, you were at a Whiskey Myers concert with him.
With Easton?
Oh,
now
yeah.
Listen, I'm backstage at one of them things. Let's go.
Did you get any nuggets out of him?
I know this. To Zona's point, he is a tackle junkie.
Let's listen to Trey McKinney first.
Well, right now we just caught a bunch of good ones. We went from 18 pounds to like 20 3/4, almost 21. So we saved ourselves for sure. I mean, we're not going to drop too far. We're definitely going to drop. You just don't know how far. So I'm one bite away. One 5-pounder, dude, will call me a whole entire pound. I'll be 22 something. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I need a couple more good ones for sure. I would like to get all of them to 4.5, but that's going to dictate on what the fishies want me to do or not. We lost one. I don't even think it would have helped us too much now, maybe a few ounces. But right now we're in this area. I'm about to leave it because I haven't caught, I've caught 4 even, 4 even, 4 even, 4 3, 4 3, just all like right on the dot 4-pounders, which is awesome, great. But right now that's not going to help us. So I'm about done with my drift here. We're going to go a little bit farther this way, and we're going to pack it up and go where in practice I caught a big one, and we're just going to, that's all we need now. We're just head hunting. So we're just going to put ourselves, even if we don't catch another one, I know I'll be in an area where I know has 5-pounders. So I think that's the goal, because if I want to have a chance to win and stay up there, that's what I got to have. So I think here in a second we're going to roll out, see if we can go catch us a big one. Probably not, but hopefully. They're actually biting really surprisingly good, like, honestly. There for a little bit I caught every single fish I saw, and now it's catch one or two out of 3. See them flies, you got to get that leg up like that right there.
Flat tire!
You got to get that leg up, and then you can get them.
Gave us a weight, too.
They actually saved me and the kids out here one day. We were down in Wapool area, and things went wrong. You know, Trey McKinney does have a little stone cold country by the grace of God. You could see him, exactly. You could see him at a Whiskey Myers. I don't know one I would be at, but I could see him at one. His parents own a store. The other side of that, I want to talk to you about Trey McKinney, about where he has fished in this tournament, okay? Been around the core pressure, but he's always been on the outskirts of where the bulk of that pressure has been, kind of on the east side of it, the northeast side of it. And obviously tomorrow, cutting our field down, there's going to be a lot less pressure because here, I got to say it this morning, he beat the brakes off of a lot of big-name anglers yesterday, and I was watching it, man. There will be less pressure in there tomorrow, but tomorrow in that area of Anchor Bay, there's one of those, Bowman talked about it, Bo knows, there's one of those flotilla parties going to be out here.
Oh,
I mean, it is going to be a gong show where Trey McKinney is fishing tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, I can't wait.
Catch him early, Trey. Catch him early.
I'm going to that party. We are doing a live segment from that party. But the party that we are watching here this week, the 8th stop of the 2025 Bassmaster Elite Series.
Hey, there you go. It's starting. Wait till you see it this afternoon. Let's go. Let's go.
Our tournament leader, the youngest Elite Series champion in history, trying to become the youngest progressive Bassmaster angler of the year ever.
You know what those flotilla parties don't care about?
What?
Bass fishermen.
I can't wait. Weigh in this afternoon, 3:10 Eastern Time on Bassmaster.com. Don't miss it. Everything is official when they hit the scales.
The Yamaha VMAX V6 SHO continues to deliver the level of performance that pro bass and multi-species anglers demand. Underneath a bold and aggressive new look, an upgraded charging system with 40% more charging power meets the amped-up demand for today's advanced electronics. The VMAX SHO, raw power, reliability, and exhilarating performance for every angler who loves the sport enough to invest in the best. Yamaha, reliability starts here.
At Beat Down Outdoors, we know you depend on your gear to hold up in any condition. Rain, snow, sun, or sleet. We built for that. We test for that. In fact, we pride ourselves in that. Because we know when the time comes to test your gear, you aren't going to take it easy. So we won't. We build premium, made in the USA products that you can rely on in the moments when your equipment should be the last thing on your mind. I guess you could say that's our thing.
It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
Professional angler Jason Christie knows the performance and feel of a reel in his hands is very important. And that's why he designed the new Spro JC Elite and JC Elite MG baitcast reels to achieve both of those goals. The reels have 4 gear ratios for any technique, and the frame of each reel is the same size, So no matter which speed you use, they feel the same. 9 bearings, long casting, and loaded with power. Give the JC Elite and JC Elite MG a try this season.
As a professional fisherman, every decision I make is to win.
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 The boat I drive,
The baits I throw,
The gear I wear.
I do it to win.
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 Because when I'm on the water, I want to be the best.
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 That's why.
That's why.
And that's why
That's why
we
wear the best.
It is Friday. We have 101 anglers on the water. We'll cut it down to 50 after today's competition. Welcome back into the Bassmaster Halftime Show presented by Bass Cat Boats. Lake St. Clair is the playing field, and the guy who has dominated this tournament since day number 1, Trey McKinney, trying to become the youngest progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year in Bassmaster history. Already the youngest Rookie of the Year. Already the youngest Elite Series champion. I mean, might as well throw that crown in there.
And if you really look at that top 10, that unofficial top 10 right there,
yes,
it is starting to take the shape that we were talking about yesterday. A lot of the familiar names that you thought would do good are starting to rise.
Well,
can I take the handle of this real quick?
Please do.
I used to do it with Tommy Sanders, and in honor of this halftime show, in all honesty, I used to make lures rise up in the studio with Tommy Sanders. We'd whip them, bull whip, stuff like that. Right now, I give you the rise of this halftime show, the rise of Bo Nose. See, we didn't get it. We didn't. Did we get it? There we go. Let's go. It was a great idea until we did it. It was a great idea.
It was
go
just
ahead.
fine.
All right. Bo Nose at St. Clair Smallmouth are old, tough, and resilient. I'm going to tell you how I came to this conclusion, okay? 2 years ago when we were here, when Joey Cifuentes won, we took 15 bass from this event. The Hall of Fame, Bass Fishing Hall of Fame actually bought transmitters.
Right.
We put 15 transmitters in the fish that we caught during that tournament, right? Of those 15, 13 were tracked at least 100 days. 2 just went they either went forever away or the transmitters didn't work. But after 2 years, are we better now? After 2 years, we're still tracking those fish. We're still tracking 11 of those fish.
Okay.
But here's what I thought there's a couple things that you will expressly be interested in. I'm going to give you a little bit of the average movement from one day to the next of over 250 fish that have been tagged on St. Clair is 600 yards a day.
The average movement of one bass is
of
600.
Every bass is is 600 yards. Wow. The average movement.
Wow. So
one of those bass swam a total of 240 miles in 367 days. That was a fish that was caught by Chad Pipkins, and it was a 7.5-year-old fish. He swam 240 miles in a year. Another one is a 19.8-inch fish. He was a 12-year-old fish. He swam basically the least, and it was a 9-mile difference over the year's time. Matt Robertson caught a fish that was 20 inches. It was a 13-year-old fish, and it swam in a straight line 45 miles. All right? The average age of those fish was 10.5-year-olds, and that's what I really want to kind of, if you think about these fish being old and tough and resilient, if you think about what a 10-year-old wild creature is, you know this as a deer hunter, what a 10-year-old wild creature. The average fish that we weighed in here yesterday was 10 years old.
And if you really think about that, you talk about pressure. We were talking about this. Like a mature deer, I know this sounds crazy in Bassmaster Live, you don't get many cracks at him. And listen, there are a gazillion 5-pound bass in here, but obviously there is conditioning in a lot of these fish. And the thing that amazed me the most about what you just talked about is per day that these smallmouth would go 600 yards. And this is no joke. I actually caught one of those tagged fish that you got to see Logan Parks with yesterday, and I called it in to Lansing, this is about a decade ago. Where I caught it was almost 100 miles away from it was tagged 1 year prior. and literally swam across the abyss of Lake Michigan.
But one of the things that you can draw a conclusion from all this is really these fish are old and tough, but these guys are good. You talked about them saying yesterday on the halftime show how they've already gotten conditioned. I mean, you got a 10-year-old fish that has fed for 300 or 3,650 days out of the year and conditioned to danger every one of those days, and these guys are capturing that guy, and that's not for the ever. So what you see there on the screen is how old is my lake. Basically, if you catch that fish and the total length is on the left-hand side, and then you can go out to the side of that and come up with the age of your fish. Now, what they did here was they took a spine out of the back and they aged it, like sliced it in half and like tree rings, right? It's not as effective as the ear bone, but it's still pretty effective. I mean, you know, they know that it's at least 10 years old, right? So we haven't lost. But one of the things that I think is also that resonates with me personally as a sportsman, we want to take care of these fish, et cetera. Kyle and I were talking about this last night. We talk about smallmouth being a sensitive creature, right? But we had basically, I'm going to say almost 100% survival rate of a bass, a large bass, that was minding his own business and decided that he was going to eat a goby or whatever, and then got pulled all around, got thrown into a 2-foot by 2-foot box in the black, rode across the lake, bounced around, did all this, thrown in a bag, walked across here, put in a tank, did that, go up on stage, held up for all the world to see, come back, had his gut sliced open, and a transmitter slid in there, sewed up, put back in another boat, then out there. Yeah, well, you know, it's our best.
I was abducted. I get it. I get it.
You were. I remember.
It was a long time ago.
I mean, it's like Walt Disney World worst ride ever that this bass has taken, and they're still out there pinging.
Wow.
At 10, 11, 12 years old, because if you're talking about human years in bass, that fish is 70, 80 years old.
And the other connection to that, and I've always said this with Sanders doing Bassmaster Live, I've always called them jokingly, they're a velociraptor. And you say that and you laugh and whatever, but what I mean by that is you can have the best spot, whether it's Lake St. Clair, Lake Ontario, Sturgeon Bay, whatever it is, you can have the best spot. If a smallmouth does not have something to put in his mouth, he is moving on.
Right.
He is rolling. You've
100%.
always heard, really for the last 20, 30, 40 years, that a smallmouth, he is here today, gone tomorrow. What you just said right there, that obviously has been studied, is absolutely spot on.
And the thing that it draws to, we had this conversation before we went on air, Zone and I did, about roaming fish and hiding fish. There's really not that many places to hide on this lake. So every fish is a roaming fish, and it's more of a pelagic atmosphere than any place we go to. This is the one place that there's not an elite angler out there that wants to see the forward-facing go away.
And there is. I'm going to tell you, there is a connection, what you just said, with that study. There are massive migrations of bass on this lake because in the spring when McInnes comes up and we're taping shows, they're all basically on the mile roads, and those fish will migrate out to Metro and stuff like that. But that migration, besides them breeding, that migration is constantly chasing a forage, hands down. And that proves it, what you just said right there.
Well, we've had over 116,000 detections of these radio tag fish.
Wow.
And by the time all this is over, we're going to have answers to questions we never even knew that we had a question for, right? I mean, it's just
were they pinged? Just
that's the one thing they won't give me. That's the one thing they won't give me. But I mean, it is an amazing deal, and it's something that kind of brings home the fact that these guys are out here chasing an elusive fish.
That's on the move.
That's on the move. And they are not rookies. These are the hardcore veteran fish.
Bo knows.
Bo knows.
I mean, I was going to give you the opportunity to officially close the show, but I guess we're not going to do that. We're going to get on the water with Will Davis Jr. right now. That's great stuff.
Really good stuff. Like, when he got into the actual miles that they ping, unbelievable. Will Davis Jr. live.
Sir? Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty tough morning to get a good bite. You know, I've caught, I don't know, 8 or so. Got one good one, the rest of them I need to get rid of, but it's one of them deals that it can happen real quick like. And the name of this game is just keep on moving. You just can't really just sit. It really ain't like a place where you can just pull up unless you're out there in the middle of the lake, and sit there and, you know, in one little area. And Anchor Bay for me has been one of them deals where I'd have to put this troll motor down and just keep on rolling. But we'll find us a good one here in a little bit. We still got 4 hours of fish, plenty enough time. And there's giants live in here, that's for sure. The wind's picking up, so I think it's gonna make them a little bit more active. And the sun's getting higher too, and that's definitely what you need. See, yesterday the fish started biting real good from about 9:45 to 11 for me, and it seemed to be that way today. So, you know, it's a full moon right now.
Bill Davis doing his impersonation of one of those smallmouth, just covering water.
Just covering some water. And I'll tell you, that little light chop, that 1 foot chop, I heard Hank Cherry on stage. He was just happy yesterday to be on solid ground. That 1 foot chop yesterday beat my guy up out there, Hank Cherry.
Does not like it.
Yeah.
Does not like it. It is his kryptonite.
It is. There is no doubt about it. Bassmaster Live.
Kenny leading this event. Koya Vegeta behind him. Cole Sands. I'm still stuck in the whole rise of Bonos. That was magical.
Good stuff.
What a time to be live. Hummingbird's new Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar is your front row seat to every epic catch, unfolding as it happens with more clarity than ever before. Decipher between dinks and diamonds in the brush. Choose between 15 color palettes and 3 views. Zero in with enhanced bait tracking and marvel at all the jaw-dropping detail. New Mega Live 2. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
If you're looking for the best jigs, buzz baits, spinner baits, Epic is the choice for you. Years of experience from every Epic pro angler goes into every bait. Epic Baits, veteran owned, so check us out, America.
Terminal tackle to swing jigs and buzz baits. Epic has you covered.
The best weights that I've used, they never fray your line, no matter if you use a fluorocarbon braid, whatever, you don't have to worry about it.
Keep an eye out for all the new products coming to epicbaitsfishing.com.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard. Engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Since 1975, PH Marine has been the leader in boat parts and accessories, powering every journey on the water. From trim handles to jack plates, we've built a legacy that keeps you running strong. PH Marine, built for life on the water.
This is the brand new B.A.S.S. It's a little bit shallower than the original. It has more of that traditional bass boat look that I love. The layout of this boat's set up really, really nice. Really easy to fish out of, really easy to rig out of. Storage is insane. And this thing's a beast in big water, but also drafts super shallow. So, you know, just a really high performance machine. I can take this boat all across the country, whether I'm river beating or on the Great Lakes, and it handles everything flawlessly.
Good morning, commuters. Looks like we got traffic backed up for miles. Starting with a downed tree blocking East Avenue and a broken water main causing a bottleneck on the westbound lanes. We've got weekend travelers flooding the turnpike, meaning it's bumper-to-bumper traffic for the foreseeable future. I'd get comfortable. You might be there for a while.
Toyota
trucks. Let's go places.
25 years as a touring professional, I have depended on Gamakatsu my entire career to produce the sharpest and the strongest hooks. Known as a power fisherman, but yet if you're going to survive as a tour level pro, finesse is becoming more and more popular, regardless if we go north or we go south. So when you're choosing a hook, choose Gamakatsu. They have one for every technique and every body of water that you fish on.
The newest addition to the Basscat STS family is here. Introducing the Caracal STS, showcasing aggressive styling, paired with enhanced performance and a continued dedication to raising the bar. Measuring in at 20 feet 2 inches with an ultra-wide 96-inch beam and rated for a 250 to 300 horsepower engine, the Caracal STS boasts agility and speed and is finished with premium features to satisfy any angler. Basscat Boats. Feel the rush.
Day 2, Stop 8 of the 2025 Bassmaster Elite Series, the Yokohama Bassmaster Elite. And welcome back into the Bassmaster Halftime Show presented by Basscat Boats. Lake St. Clair, we returned for the first time in just a few years, and everybody talking about one thing coming into this, Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. And as you can see, our top 3 literally flipped in one day of competition. Wow. But that is officially unofficial right now because it doesn't become official until kind of the points sort out after today and obviously to the end of this tournament. But by the looks of things, we got lots of changes going on.
Well, I'll tell you where I did not know, where Z did not know, is in the TNZ podcast. I said I really felt that man, and here's why I said that. Obviously, you look at Jay Shakurit, you look at Chris Johnston, you just felt coming in here both of those dudes were going to catch them. It really has not been the case. Like, if you were to look at this season, in fact, to look at Chris Johnson and Jay Shakurit, a place where you're like, well, they're not going to slip there. Maybe one will at the Mississippi River. The ultimate dream for Trey McKinney happened yesterday, which makes today paramount for Jay and Chris Johnston. And it stuns me, it does. Even though Chris had a solid bag yesterday, I think you just said that he's sitting right around 18 pounds, correct, which means he's probably around 19 pounds. Yeah. I really thought Chris was going to gamble today, go up the St. Clair River, and go for a big. Here's what I can tell you: Jay Shakurit or Chris Johnston, and Chris Johnston, they need to make the cut today, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it's a just as critical of a day for Jay Shakurit. Go from leading AOY coming into this event, only had a 3-point lead over Chris Johnson and a 12-point lead over Trey McKinney. But, I mean, obviously falling back to third place, if he doesn't make the cut today, I mean, that's going to be hard to overcome because he's 30, after yesterday's weigh-in, was 39 points back. So, I mean, that flipped quick.
Talking about things changing, that used to be called the pre-fish stance.
That's right. I was actually you've seen a lot of competition, Dave. Way to point that out. Know a few of our fans of the forward-facing sonar technology. The era that we're in is a dude that hasn't casted for the last 4.5 minutes. Looking at it right there. But I mean, hey, it's going to give us a good race going into the Mississippi River. Again, it's Captain Obvious, dude. The rest of today is huge for Jay and Chris.
Yes, that's a good one.
Again, really throughout the areas of Anchor Bay that have played. A couple of your anglers yesterday, they had good bags, were a little bit shallower, 7 to call it 9 or 10 feet of water. Really the most consistent depth throughout Anchor Bay. Kind of looking at that 9 to 11 foot throughout this tournament.
Start rolling and everything else. I don't like you. I don't like you that thing. Oh, come on. There's a good one. I've been caught before. Hooked better than what I thought, though. 31. That's the ones we after right there. Whew.
Let me pick at one more thing about Anchor Bay, and Easton Fothergill last night was the one that really talked about it. If you fish St. Clair, it doesn't matter if you're in Anchor Bay or the Mile Roads. There is a ton of current throughout the entire system, and what was cool to listen to Easton. I'm going to take a look at Dakota Eber right here, actually just a couple hundred yards away from Easton Fothergill. Easton saying that these fish that he was after, the wolf packs in Anchor Bay, very current related, and he said, I'm starting to learn how they move with wind direction and the current.
I think so. I think it's 3 3/4 probably. And mad. I can verify that. I got a 3.5 in there, so yeah, this one's bigger than 3.5. He could be almost a 4. He could be a 3.5. I really don't know. But I'd like to weigh him and find out rather than have to guess, right? Yep. Because we had to guesstimate if he comes off. He's always going to be bigger than what he really was, right? Isn't that how fish stories work? Yeah, so I went back throwing this jerkbait just because of this cloud cover, and I thought maybe I could actually get one to commit to it with this a little bit of cloud cover. The waves are picking up from the boats and the wind, and so it's definitely, I got one to commit to it, and he did thrash it. I don't know how well he's hooked, but he hit it hard. I'm about to try to scoop him up here. He's still got quite a bit of pull to him. They fight so hard. He's not that big. He's barely hooked. See, that's why he was fighting so hard. When they get hooked outside the mouth like that, them son of guns will dog you. I think he's bigger than 3.5. He's 3.5.
Stash Dakota is rocking. He could be a sheriff.
He is a sheriff, my friend. He brings it on camera. Like, he walks you through exactly what he is doing. Good stuff, Dakota Eber. And it was cool looking at his 2D right there, just how featureless a lot of these areas are. And one of the biggest keys, and we talked about this, and it's I actually have been texting back and forth with a buddy of mine, Derek Solier, lives in Windsor, great fisherman on this lake. And I said, dude, what is the problem with the Canadian side? And he said, there's some sort of vegetation on that side right now that is kind of, he didn't use the word choking out a lot of the typical notorious areas. And he said, there is something different on the bottom where you don't have those, what I've said all week long, those crop circles of sand, hard bottom. And he said, it's literally just been a changed environment.
is it the spiny starwort? Is that what it's called? Because
he texted it, and that's a scary thing, just because a lot of the inland lakes around here have that. And that is something you do not want in lakes. Fish generally will run from it the more it takes. I'm not saying that's in here, but that is the exact grass that he talked about.
Yeah.
So,
it covers everything.
It's a carpet. It's a carpet.
Chokes out everything.
So
it's wild. Yeah, Dakota Bear with great stuff as always. But great stuff in this local area.
It is great.
Detroit Sports Commission having us out here.
Preseason
County
football.
And
everything's
and then
going.
Chesterfield Township.
It's all happening.
They have rolled out the red carpet. We've had great takeoff crowds. I'd say a great yesterday crowd. And good times are had in this part of the world. And rumor has it, I don't confirm or deny, Mark Zona, that you have reached into your ample budget and rented that bad boy for me and Kyle.
I did. It's for later tonight. It's more for a sunset cruise. I know Bo knows he's going to be out there with us studying some of that telemetry. He brought it all day long. But yeah, we have that later tonight. Bassmaster Live, Yokohama Tire Bassmaster Elite Series on Lake St. Clair, presented by Bass Cat Boats. See? I can do it. That's right. I'm back. I'm starting to get some confidence. Where's that Ronnie Moore? I'm going to tune him up.
Get him.
There's a big one in the reeds ahead. I know it. He doesn't care who I am, what titles I have, how many blue trophies I got, that I've fished since I could walk, or that I've spent countless hours on the water for this moment. It's me versus the fish, and I like to win.
Bass fishing fans, the ultimate destination for Bassmaster merchandise is here and better than ever with an all-new Bassmaster online store. From exclusive apparel to high-quality gear and accessories, we've got everything you need with prices to fit every budget. It's our new, more customer-friendly site with fast shipping and unbeatable quality. All kinds of items to give as gifts to the bass fishing fan in your life or stock up on options for yourself. The goods you need to elevate your bass fishing game and rep your Bassmaster pride. See Bassmaster.shop to check out the latest deals and hottest trends at the all-new Bassmaster online store.
We're known for really small baits, for highly pressured fish, and we're going even smaller now with the new Micro Series. So when I say Micro Series, you're probably wondering how small are these baits? These baits are typically around 40% smaller than what you've come to expect from us. So the next time you're faced with super tough conditions, the Micro Series is going to be the solution to help you keep the bite going and catch that fish that you've always dreamed of.
Summer is fading fast, but the savings are blazing hot. It's the final days of the Skeeter Blazing Hot Summer Savings Sales Event. Until September 5th, you can save big with up to $5,000 in rebates on select models. Get the Skeeter boat you've been dreaming about across our popular bass, saltwater, and deep V lines. Don't miss out. Visit your authorized Skeeter dealer today or go to SkeeterBoats.com for more details. Hurry, this event ends September 5th. Don't let this opportunity drift away. Terms and conditions may apply.
And last, 8 or 9. Oh, it could be 10. Oh, what a bite. Oh, bite.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring.
That's a giant, dude.
Summer.
Yeah! Back in!
Winter.
It's so cold.
And fall.
Got him. Look at him.
Being comfortable and staying dry is absolutely not an option. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
Discover the hidden gems and pristine waters of Tennessee's Bill Dance signature lakes. Conveniently located throughout Tennessee, there's a signature lake near you, covering all regions of the volunteer state, all endorsed by the legendary Bill Dance himself. Whether it's a weekend getaway or an extended vacation, create timeless memories at Tennessee's Bill Dance signature lakes. Plan your trip today.
Pretty much everyone in the field has a lot of pressure on them here this week, whether you're trying to win Angler of the Year, win Rookie of the Year, qualify for the Bassmaster Classic, or just re-qualify for the 2026 Bassmaster Elite Series. Not too many anglers in the field that don't have pressure on them, and things happen throughout the year that they're painful at any time during the year, but it just seems a little more painful at the end of the season. The points feel a little heavier. They're the exact same points at the beginning of the season. We had a few things happen yesterday that were very, very painful, but some integrity was showing. There's 3 different licenses needed to compete on this body of water.
Yes.
Michigan, Ontario, and Wapoo.
Yes, and really, if you kind of get around the bottom, here's the best way to put it. If you get around the bottom of the South Channel, where the St. Clair River dumps into St. Clair, you had better just have a Wapoo license. Angler like Ray Hanselman Jr., he was checked, did not have that license, had to throw his bass back, start again. Ray Hanselman fighting for his life, so very critical. Looked at another angler, Ed Loughran, turned himself in. Big props to Ed. And a hats off, man. That's big time integrity. We had another situation before the event, before the Canadian side was open. JT Tompkins was fishing on the Canadian side. He was not allowed in this tournament after that information came out. He could not fish on the Canadian side of St. Clair throughout this tournament. And it would have, I mean, and look, if you went into the Canadian side, we talked about this, you could have gained a competitive advantage of, heck, I'm not going to practice over here during official practice. So JT Tompkins getting a Canadian penalty and 2 anglers yesterday. Not only that, Wes Logan, 5 bass in his live well, catches a bass, okay, and this happens a lot on this lake. Another one's following, catches a bass, puts it on the floor of his boat, then hooks the other one, a 7th fish. So I believe he got a 2-pound penalty assessed. So, but hats off to Wes, to Ed Loughran, and Ray Hansen.
And the only difference between Ray and Ed, really? What? Whoa.
Such out of nowhere.
Where's Such? Skeeter Boats Big Fish Alert. Steve Kennedy, a guy with pressure
right
on
there.
him.
There we go.
5 pounds, 8 ounces. The only difference between Ed Loughran and Ray Hanselman, both dealt with the same penalty. Ed didn't realize until the evening that he was in that area, and he called in. So they both self-reported. But if Ed had done it throughout the day, because let's be honest, Ray Hanselman had 22.5 pounds in his live well, had to let them all go and start over, and that's when he got the 15 pounds that he weighed in.
Biggest thing you could take from Bassmaster Live, if you're going to come and fish a tournament on Lake St. Clair, and you get down near the bottom of that South Channel, have your Canadian license, have your Wapoo license. Just play it safe, have every license you need here.
Shout out to the guys from Wapoo, although it was tough. Didn't give the guys tickets. They just said, hey, buy a license. And they sold them one right on the spot.
Good stuff right there.
Let's get out with our reigning Bassmaster Classic champion, Easton Fothergill.
I'm just, I found a flat here with a bunch of great big ones. I just had a bunch of perch nipping at me, and I was fishing for a big one near the bottom, and the perch ignited, and the smallmouth, that like ignited the smallmouth. It didn't bite, but I don't know if that's a clue to, throw a minnow and imitate a perch, or what. But yeah, I'm around big ones right now. Just gotta make sure I'm not wasting time on 3-pounders. I gotta be confident it's a 4 or 5 pounder before I throw at it. It's just an efficiency game at this point. So, yeah, if I throw out enough 4-pounders from now to the end of the day, I should get a couple to bite and have another good bag. So, feeling good.
Novel idea, Z.
Oh, yeah.
But you like to throw things around about in the TNZ podcast. I'm a big fan of it.
Thanks.
Baseball put in basically a shot clock. Why don't we do the opposite? Like, if you don't cast for 1 minute,
we'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Trust me.
As we're watching Easton Fothergill here, Zona, I got to ask you, because for somebody like myself that's followed the sport his whole life, looking at these northern smallmouth fisheries, for a person that, fishes in the South, from the South, all of them are very unique, but St. Clair, when you hear it explained, you know, it's just a big bowl, basically the same depth. Where do you start? Like, obviously forward-facing has made that transition a little easier, but for somebody that is going to come up here, has never fished here, where do you even start?
No, that's a great question. I mean, it's a very man, I remember the first time I came here, I was 16 years old, and all of a sudden you get to a boat ramp and you're like, whoa. But now, I'm going to put it in simplistic terms. It's a lot like Okeechobee. I know that sounds nuts. You need to, if you're, just be around other boats, whether they're perch fishing or bass fishing. You see that in the majority of the tournaments. That's a simple way to put it. Not how I attack the lake, unless there's 30 boats in Anchor Bay all catching 22 pounds. But the other way is, and I mean this, is there's little irregularities out here. You know, I've fished out here with Mercer and Van Dam so many years, and some of the best that have ever fished this lake. And if you look at, this is not a sales pitch, I heard you make a comment. If one thing that you can never not have in your boat, it would be mapping. If you look at what's interesting, if you look at Lake Master mapping and the good mapping that's out here, just going from 11 to 13 feet of water for these fish is enormous. Huge. That is enormous for these fish. When you combine one of those little high spots with the correct bottom, broken grass, hard bottom, and sand, that's the pure mixture. But what's funny was when I was really starting to learn this lake throughout my 20s, I would, on days like this where it's not rough, I would just idle and idle and idle. It's so boring. It's so incredibly boring. But a lot of those areas that I found throughout my 20s, they still work today. All the way, you know, the same thing goes on shallow on the mile roads where it goes from 5 to 7. You look at that and you go, well, heck, dude, that doesn't mean anything. That is so big to how these fish travel on this lake. Again, when you combine those little irregularities of depth change combined with the correct bottom. Now, listen, you go into the St. Clair River where Dobson fishes and guys like that, or you go into the Detroit River, those are current fish that pack up and they wolf pack, and those are seams. But out on this lake, either find out where the mass population of fishermen are at or little irregularities.
Out on the water live right now with Caleb Summerall from Louisiana, having a big event, and kind of figured out the smallmouth thing a few years ago and said once I started thinking of them like redfish, they became a lot easier for me to figure out.
Yeah, man, we got a small limit right now. Nothing ideal for this place at all. We got to get rid of every single one we got. The fish are just not doing the things that they were doing yesterday. They're being very picky, a lot of short strikes, a lot of follows, and just never committing. I mean, these fish have had a lot of pressure throughout practice. And yesterday, I mean, we're all fishing a pretty tight area, and these fish are starting to feel the pressure most definitely. Like I said, I got to get everything out of my box, so I'm going to drift for the next 20 minutes or so through my best area, and then I'm going to make a move where I caught some smaller fish in practice. I say smaller, just around some more fish that probably less pressure, and hopefully salvage the day. We got till 3 o'clock check-in, so anything can happen. I did catch some good 4-pounders late yesterday afternoon. Midday was kind of slow for me, just the drift that I was on. I don't think it was just going down at that time. We're just going to keep hunting them down. I mean, that's all I can do. And just hopefully I get 5 to commit. We start the time, so.
Slow day right there for Caleb Summerall. I'm going to tag one more thing, and it's more of a time of year thing. It tends to happen early April, but it will start to happen. If you're watching Bassmaster Live, you're like, dang it, man, I'm going up there in September. The last thing I can tell you, again, it's a time of year deal. It'll start in the next 2 weeks. The birds will show you really the end of August to the end of September. They will absolutely show you where it's going down.
Well,
that's all I got.
It's been going down here at the halftime show. I mean, you finally, the rise of Bo Knows.
The rise of Bo Knows.
That was my season highlight.
Yeah. It was a great idea until we did it.
Well, I think it was excellent. I loved it.
Let's go.
We've got a great show coming up tomorrow. We're going to be joined by Travis Pastrana. He's going to be on the set with us, so that's going to be a lot of fun, right?
Yep.
Totally. He's sold on it. Wow.
I'm in.
2 days in and ready for his re-retirement tour. But Mark Zona is committed to be here the next few days, so don't go anywhere. A guy that hasn't left the top of that leaderboard since day number 1, Trey McKinney, 45 pounds, 7 ounces. Big thing's going to happen this afternoon.
I'm going to say Chris Johnston sneaks in that cut.
Always expect some surprises at weigh-in, too.
Can't wait to watch it go down. 3:10 this afternoon.
Bassmaster.
Live?
Question mark?